Before we start the story, let me remind you why stories are the best way to learn English. When you listen to or read stories, you learn new words, see how sentences are formed, and understand how people speak in real life. Plus, stories are interesting. You don't feel like you're studying, but at the same time, you're learning a lot. Today, we're going to explore Joker 2019. I'm going to tell you everything about the movie, including every small detail. This will help you understand English better, and you'll also enjoy an amazing story. The movie is deep, emotional, and full of twists, so get ready. The beginning of the story. Arthur Fleck's world. The movie starts in Gotham City, a dark, grim place where crime and poverty are at an all-time high. Gotham is almost like a character itself, setting the tone for everything that happens. The streets are dirty, people are angry, and there's a huge gap between the rich and the poor. This city is not just a backdrop, but it plays a crucial role in shaping the characters, especially our main character, Arthur Fleck. Arthur is a lonely, struggling man who works as a clown. His job is to dress up in clown makeup and entertain people at places like children's hospitals, stores, and parties. However, his life is anything but joyful. He lives with his sick mother, Penny Fleck, in a small, run-down apartment. His mother, who he calls Happy, believes that Arthur is destined for greatness, but Arthur doesn't feel that way. Arthur suffers from mental health problems, one of which is a condition that makes him laugh uncontrollably at inappropriate times. This laughter isn't out of happiness. It's a nervous reaction he can't control. He even carries a small card that explains his condition to people when they get confused or uncomfortable by his random bursts of laughter. Every day, Arthur tries to make people happy, but no one seems to care about him. He's ignored, mocked, and treated badly by society. Gotham City is a reflection of Arthur's own internal struggle, dirty, broken, and full of anger. Arthur's dream, to become a comedian. Arthur has a dream. He wants to be a stand-up comedian. He believes that if he can make people laugh, maybe they'll finally notice him and love him. He idolizes Murray Franklin, a famous talk show host, and watches his show every night. In his imagination, he sees himself being invited to the show and being praised by Murray. He even imagines Murray calling him up from the audience and hugging him like a father figure. But Arthur's reality is far from this dream. He's terrible at stand-up comedy, and the few times he gets a chance to perform, people either don't laugh or they laugh at him, not with him. He writes down jokes and thoughts in a little notebook, but his material is awkward and uncomfortable, much like Arthur himself. The world keeps beating him down, the attack on Arthur. One day, while Arthur is working as a clown, he is holding a sign outside a store, advertising a sale. Some teenagers steal his sign and run off. Arthur chases after them, but when he catches up, they beat him up badly in an alleyway. This scene is heartbreaking because it shows how Arthur is constantly bullied and mistreated by the world. No matter how hard he tries, people only respond with cruelty. Arthur's co-worker, Randall, notices that Arthur is scared and struggling, so he gives him a gun for protection. This is a turning point in the movie because, up until now, Arthur was defenseless. But with a gun, things will start to change, for better or worse. Arthur's home life. The relationship with his mother. At home, Arthur's life is equally difficult. His mother, Penny, is sick. and Arthur has to take care of her. She often talks about how Thomas Wayne, one of the richest and most powerful men in Gotham, will save them. Penny used to work for Thomas Wayne, and she believes that he will help them because of a personal connection. But Arthur is tired. He loves his mother, but he's also burdened by the responsibility of taking care of her while his own life is falling apart. They live in a small apartment, barely making ends meet, and Arthur's job as a clown doesn't pay enough to support them both. Arthur also visits a social worker, who helps him manage his mental health. But even this system seems to fail him. The social worker doesn't really listen to him, and when the funding for his therapy is cut, Arthur loses access to his medication and therapy. This is a crucial moment because it shows how society continually fails people like Arthur, pushing them further into isolation and despair. The subway incident. Arthur's first taste of power. The most important turning point in the movie happens on a subway train. Arthur, still dressed in his clown outfit after work, is riding the train when he sees three rich, drunk men harassing a woman. Arthur, sitting quietly, begins to laugh uncontrollably due to his condition. The men notice him and begin to taunt him. Arthur tries to control his laughter, but he can't. The men get angrier and start to beat him up. In a moment of desperation, Arthur pulls out the gun Randall gave him and shoots the three men, killing them. This is the first time Arthur has ever fought back, and the feeling is overwhelming. For the first time, he's not the victim, he has power. But this act of violence changes everything for Arthur and for Gotham. The aftermath. Gotham reacts. The news of the subway murders spreads quickly, and Gotham is thrown into chaos. The city, already on the edge, begins to idolize the clown who killed the rich men. They see the killer as a symbol of rebellion against the wealthy and corrupt. People start wearing clown masks and protesting in the streets. The tension between the rich and poor reaches a boiling point. But Arthur's reaction is more complex. At first he's scared, but then he starts to feel liberated. The killings give him a sense of control over his life for the first time. The world notices him now, even if it's for something terrible. This is when Arthur begins to embrace his new identity as the Joker. The truth about Arthur's past. His mother's lies. While all of this is happening, Arthur's personal life takes another hit. His mother, Penny, has always told him that Thomas Wayne is his father. Arthur, who has always struggled with his identity, believes this and decides to confront Wayne. He sneaks into a fancy event where Wayne is speaking and tries to talk to him. Thomas Wayne, however, tells Arthur that his mother is delusional. He explains that Penny was never in a relationship with him, and that she adopted Arthur after suffering from her own mental health issues. Arthur is heartbroken and confused. He returns home to find old hospital records that confirm Wayne's story. Penny isn't his biological mother, and he was abused as a child by her boyfriend. This discovery is devastating for Arthur. Everything he thought he knew about himself is a lie. His fragile mental state shatters even further. The Murray Franklin Show. The final act of madness. As Arthur sinks deeper into madness, he receives a phone call from the Murray Franklin Show. They want to invite him on as a guest after seeing a video of his terrible stand-up comedy performance. Murray had previously mocked Arthur on his show, but Arthur sees this as his chance for revenge. On the night of the show, Arthur fully embraces his identity as the Joker. He dyes his hair green, paints his face, and wears a bright suit. When he walks onto the stage, the audience doesn't know what to expect. Arthur admits to killing the 3 men on the subway, and Murray tries to confront him. But Arthur is past reasoning. He pulls out a gun and shoots Murray on live television, causing mass chaos. This moment solidifies Arthur as the Joker. He has fully embraced his role as a symbol of anarchy, and the city of Gotham is now in total chaos. The riots and Jokers rise. A city in flames. As Arthur is being arrested, the streets of Gotham are burning. Rioters in clown masks flood the city, destroying everything in their path. The gap between the rich and the poor has exploded into full-scale violence. Arthur, now in the back of a police car, watches the destruction with a sense of satisfaction. But things don't end there. The rioters break Arthur out of the police car and lift him onto the roof of a crashed car. In the final iconic moment, Arthur, now fully the Joker, stands on top of the car, spreading his arms wide as the rioters cheer him on. He dances in celebration, finally feeling seen by the world. Arthur's transformation. The rise of Joker. Arthur, now fully transformed into the Joker, is standing triumphantly on top of the police car amidst a sea of rioters in clown masks. His dance atop the car is a symbolic moment. He's no longer the ignored, lonely man from the start of the film. In the chaos of Gotham's breakdown, he is seen as a leader, a figurehead for the rebellion of the oppressed. His laughter is no longer something that marks him as an outcast. It's part of his new identity, part of the madness he has fully embraced. The rioters have elevated him in every sense, both figuratively and literally. He is now the Joker, powerful, recognized, and at the heart of Gotham's darkest uprising. This scene is crucial because it represents how society's rejection and mistreatment of individuals like Arthur can lead them to become symbols of destruction. The people of Gotham, who have also been ignored, mistreated, and oppressed, rally around this destructive figure. The hospital scene. The aftermath of Arthur's journey. In the final scene of the movie, we see Arthur in Arkham State Hospital, a psychiatric facility. He is sitting with a therapist, laughing to himself. When she asks what's so funny, he simply says, "You wouldn't get it." This line sums up Arthur's entire journey. His experiences, his pain, his transformation. No one has ever truly understood him, and at this point it seems like no one ever will. Arthur then walks down the hospital's white corridors, leaving bloody footprints behind. It's unclear whether he killed the therapist or if the blood represents something else, but it leaves the ending open to interpretation. Has Arthur's Joker escaped the hospital? Or is he trapped in this endless cycle of violence and madness? This final scene gives us a sense of ambiguity. Has Arthur truly found himself in his transformation into the Joker? Or is he still trapped in the endless cycle of being misunderstood and isolated? Character details and key themes explored in Joker. 1. Arthur Fleck, Joker. Arthur is a tragic figure. He starts as a man trying to find happiness in a world that consistently rejects him. The gun he receives from his co-worker, Randall, symbolizes the shift in his character from being a victim to someone who takes control through violence. His uncontrollable laughter, a condition that alienates him, becomes a part of his identity as the Joker. He goes from being invisible to the world to becoming the most dangerous and powerful figure in Gotham. Penny Fleck, Arthur's mother. Penny plays a huge role in shaping Arthur's fragile identity. She constantly tells him he is special, feeding him a lie about his connection to Thomas Wayne. Her mental health issues, and the abuse she allowed Arthur to suffer as a child, are part of what drives him towards madness. In the end, when Arthur learns the truth about his mother, it breaks him completely. Thomas Wayne. Wayne is a symbol of wealth, power, and the division between the rich and poor in Gotham. He is dismissive of the poor, calling them clowns at one point, and is one of the catalysts for the growing rebellion in Gotham. To Arthur, he represents the father figure he never had, but also the man who embodies everything wrong with society. Murray Franklin. Murray is the talk show host Arthur looks up to, a symbol of fame and acceptance. But when Murray mocks Arthur's failed comedy routine on national television, it becomes the final straw that pushes Arthur over the edge. Killing Murray live on TV is Arthur's way of getting revenge on the man who laughed at him and, by extension, on a society that never took him seriously. Themes of the film: society and mental health. One of the most powerful aspects of Joker is how it examines society's treatment of mental illness. Arthur is failed at every turn, by the social worker who doesn't listen to him, by a society that mocks and mistreats him, and by a healthcare system that cuts his therapy and medication due to budget cuts. His descent into madness is not just about Arthur as an individual, but about a system that continuously pushes people to the margins. The film also explores the gap between the rich and the poor, as seen in the growing tension between Gotham's upper class and the rioters who rally around the Joker. The poor are left to suffer in the streets while the wealthy, like Thomas Wayne, live comfortably, untouched by the city's problems. Arthur's transformation into the Joker becomes a symbol of rebellion for the lower class, but at its heart, it's a cry for help from someone who has been ignored and mistreated for too long. In a film as visually striking as Joker, the colors, costumes, and settings play a crucial role in conveying the story. Arthur's transformation into the Joker is marked by his changing appearance. At the beginning of the movie, Arthur wears dull, muted clothes, blending into the background. As he becomes the Joker, his outfits become bolder, culminating in the iconic red suit and green hair. This visual shift symbolizes his transition from invisibility to infamy. The use of mirrors in the film is symbolic of Arthur's internal struggle. He is often shown looking at himself in mirrors, reflecting on who he is and who he is becoming. The mirror scenes give us a glimpse into his psyche as he tries to understand himself. The music is also crucial to the film's emotional tone. The haunting cello score mirrors Arthur's loneliness and descent into madness, while the use of upbeat songs like "That's Life," played during his final appearance on The Murray Franklin Show, adds irony to the dark moments. Conclusion: why Joker is a powerful film. Joker is not just a superhero or villain movie. It's a character study, a deep dive into the mind of a man who feels left behind by society. The film asks tough questions about how we treat mental illness, how society handles its most vulnerable members, and how a person can be pushed to the edge by years of neglect and cruelty. Arthur Fleck's journey from a lonely, struggling clown to the infamous Joker is one of the most powerful and emotional stories in modern cinema. It's a film that leaves us questioning the world around us and how much responsibility